So now let's review the statistics homework. This is the second homework, and previously I discussed up to here, and now I will talk about the fifth question of homework 2. So let K follow the uniform distribution. So here is uniform distribution in the interval 0, 6. Then we have to find probability of X is greater than 1 and less than or equal to 4. So let's see here. So we have a uniform distribution K that follows this uniform distribution 0 and 6. So as you see here, the interval is 0 and 0, 6, right? So we write down this way. K follows, this is the symbol for follows, uniform distribution, that is U, and then the parameter is 0, 6. So here 0 is A and 6 is B, okay? And then we have to find probability of X where X is greater than 1 and less than or equal to 4, right? So if you see here, here is 0 and here is 6, right? So the given data here, 1 and 4, they are between our interval, right? Here interval is 0 and 6, right? 6. So let's say here is 6, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So here we have to find the probability of X is greater than 1 and less than or equal to 4. That means from here to here, right? So this part is between our interval. So our interval is here 0 and 6, right? Our interval is 0 and 6. So that's why we write down 1 and 4 in between 0 and 6, okay? And now you have to remember another formula. So as you see here on the upside, it's the uniform distribution, okay?
Hello.
So yes.
Hi, Amar.
Yes, how are you?
How are you, bro?
Yes, I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm here.
No.
I'm here.
Long time no see, right?
I'm ready for work.
No, it's okay.
I'm not late.
No, you are not late. We just started.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
So firstly,
keep it up.
Yeah. So firstly, we're gonna learn uniform distribution, and we represent it as U, and the parameter is AB, okay? And here in the question number 5, you can see that let K follow the uniform distribution, and the parameter is given here, interval 0, 6. So that's why here we let our uniform distribution and the parameter is AB. So here A is 0, right? A is 0 and B is 6. And then the distribution function, it will be when X is less than A. So here A is the lower value and B is the upper value, okay? In the interval here. As you see, the interval here is 0, 6. So when A is less than, X is less than A, then there is no value, right? Because if you see here, we have to find the probability of X is greater than 1 and less than or equal to 4. That means here we are considering the first thing, that is X is less than A. So always when X is less than A, that means it's here, okay? Let me change the color. Basically it's here, okay? It's this region. So when X is less than 0, so there is no value, right? Because here our interval is from 0 to 6. So you have to this is just like a formula. When X is less than A, then here it will be 0. And when X is greater than or equal to A and less than or equal to B, then here the value will be X minus A by B minus A, okay? So I will show you the example. This is just the formula of uniform distribution. And when x is greater than b, then the value will be on. So why it is on? Because then it will be total probability. Okay, total probability. I have to zoom in. Okay. So as I have drawn a line here, so you see here, firstly, x is less than 0, right? So this part, so there is nothing, so it will be 0. And then x is between a and b, right? So it will be x minus a by b minus a. And then so between a and b, so a is here, right? A is 0 and b is 6. A is 0 and b is 6. So x is between a and b, that means here, okay, here. So the formula will be x minus a by b minus a. X minus a by b minus a. So, okay. And then the last thing here, x is greater than or equal to b. That means b is here. So from here to this part, right? So also from here to on the from 6 to the right side, there is no value, right? Because our interval is from 0 to 6. So here also the value will be 0, okay? So here 0 and here also 0. And in between, between a and b, the value will be x minus a by b minus a. So we will calculate now. So here it is said that we have to find the probability of x is greater than 1 and less than or equal to 4. So you see here on and 4. 1 is here and 4 is here, right? So this part, I have marked it with the blue line, right? This part. So here, okay. So that's why I have written this way. So 0 and 6, this is the value of a and b, and we have to find 1 and 4, right? So 1 and 4, they are between 0 and 6. So probability of x is greater than 1 and less than or equal to 4, it will be x minus, you see the formula, x minus a by b minus
Yes.
a. Yeah. So if I just calculate 4 minus 1. Okay, so we let this as C and D, okay, C and D. So okay, so it was like, just a moment. So the real confusion here, if you have a closer look here in the interval, you'll see that this formula x minus a by b minus a, this is for when x is greater than or equal to a and less than or equal to b, right? So here a, b, they are our interval that is already given 0, 6. If you look back in the question here, you see the interval is 0, 6. So here a is equal 0 and b is equal 6. So when the interval, when it will be x is greater than or equal to a and less than or equal to b, then the formula will be this one, x minus a by b minus a. Okay, but if a, c and d, if we have two numbers, as you see here, 1 and 4, right? In the question here, it is told that 1 and 4. So they are between a and b, right? I have drawn here. So 1 and 4, here is 1 and here is 4. 1 and 4, they are between 0 and 6, right? So that's why the formula will be different. It will be d minus c by b minus a, okay? D minus c by b minus a. So here d, where is d? So, okay. So to put it simple, d is the interval that is that we need to calculate. So here d is 4, the highest value 4, and the lowest value is 1, okay? So d minus c, you see here, d minus c. So if you look back in the question here, so it is basically D. D is 4, okay? D is 4. And C is 1, okay? C is 1. So D minus C, and the denominator part, it will be same as before, B minus C, okay? So for x is greater than or equal to 1, x is greater than or equal to 1, x is greater than 1 and less than or equal to 4. For this interval, so our probability will be D minus C by B minus A, okay? Here D is the larger value, and C is the smaller value, okay? So larger value is 4, and then minus smaller value is 1, and then B minus A. So here B, we already know that B is 6 and A is 0, okay? So the answer will be 3 by 6, or we can say 1 by 2. That's why here Laoshi has written 1 by 2, okay? And now let's see here. The probability of x is greater than 4 and less than or equal to 8. So greater than 4 and less than or equal to 8. But if you see here, the value of A and B is A, and the value here, it is between 0 and 6. But we got 8 here, right? So 8 is here, right here, because it's out of our interval. It's out of the interval that is given here. So that's why the formula is f of this larger one, okay? F of this larger value minus f of this smaller value. And the procedure for finding f of 4 and f of 8, that is like the same formula as we learned at the very first, x minus a by b minus a, okay? You see here, x minus a by b minus a. So that's why we are using this formula here, okay? Because here 8, it is out of our given interval, right? Our given interval is 0, 6. So a is 0 and b is 6. But here as we got 8 here, that's why we have to separate them. Firstly, we find f of 8 and then minus f of 4. So f of the calculating formula of f of 4 and f of 8, that is okay. So just then be careful here, okay? See here we have f of 4. So f of 4, for f of 4, 4 is between our given interval, right? Here our interval is 0, 6. So 4 is inside this given interval. That's why we use this formula. But for f8, 8 is not inside of our interval. So there is so the probability, it will be 1, because it will be on, because you know that it's out of the interval. So it's called total probability, okay? Like when we calculate some number here, some distribution, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so you will see that sometimes when you calculate 0, then we consider this part. When we calculate 3, so we consider this whole part, okay? And when we consider 6, so we calculate this whole part, okay? I'll give you some example later on. We have some homework here, okay? So just remember that when it's out of, it's I mean on the right side, yeah, when the probability here, it is 8, right? F of 8. So f of 8, it is out of the region. So that's why it is called total probability, okay? Total probability. So total probability means we know that the value of probability, it is between 0 and 1, right? So here on is total probability. That means the event must occur. So that's why f of 8, the value will be 1, okay? You can also just remember this one, this small formula, that is when x is greater than b, then it will be, the value will be 1, okay? You can still remember this formula if you don't want to go deeper. Just remember, when x is greater than b, then the result will be 1. So f of 8 equals to 1 here, and f of 4, so we calculate f of 4, that is x minus a. So here x is 4, okay? So 4 minus, and here a is 0, right? You know, yeah, a is 0. See here, a is 0, right? So 4 minus 0 by, here b is 6, and a is 0, 6 minus 0. So the answer will be 4 by 6. So if I divide by 2, so it will be 2 by 3, right? So the answer is 2 by 3. And then here you see 1 minus 2 by 3, right? So 1 minus 2 by 3. This part here will be 2 by 3. So 1 minus 2 by 3 will be 3 minus 2. That is 1 by 3, right? So the final answer here is 1 by 3. So guys, do you understand?
Very fast, but I'm trying to absorb the information.
Yeah, okay.
Don't worry, I'll review it later, so keep going.
Yeah. So it's just an example. So when we talk about more examples, it will become more easier, okay? Just keep going. So the next part here, number 6. So I'll just delete them. Maybe it's easier to open a new file. Page number 4. So number 6, we have let the distribution law of x be p of x equal to k, and so it is a by t to the power k, where k is 1, 2, and 3, and so on, okay? First, find the constant a. So constant a is here, right? And k is here. So if you have a closer look here, this is so this is what we call geometric series, okay? Geometric series. And in Bangladesh, we call it Gunotto Dhara. In our high school, we learned this way. So this is called geometric series. And geometric series means, so if you put the value of k here, you know that k is equal to 1, k is equal to 2, k is equal to 3, and this way, right? And we have on the upside, we have a here. So a by 3, a by 3 square, a by 3 cube, right? This way. So this is the geometric series. So to find the common ratio, we call it Q or R, okay? You can represent it as Q or R. So the common ratio will be the next element minus the previous element, okay? Next element minus the previous element. Or you can also do this way. This next element minus this element, okay? The previous element. So sorry, and not minus, divide by. So let's say this is A2, and let's say this is A1, okay? So the common ratio Q or R, it will be the next element A2 divided by the previous element A1. So if I divide here, you see that A by 3 square divided by A by 3, right? So we know that we can just 3 square is 9, and then we flip the sign here. So for division, we write down here multiplication. So A by 9 multiplied with 3 by A. When we so when we flip the sign here, so we have to flip this this fraction, okay? So it is 3 by A, and now we can cancel out 3, and we can cancel out A, and we divide, we multiply and divide by 3. So it is There is noise, okay? So the answer will be 1 by 3, right? That's why the common ratio R here is 1 by 3. And now we have to find the value of A. So we use limit here, okay? Because you know, you see, we have a kind of infinity numbers here. K is equal 1, 2, 3, and this way up to infinity, right? So that's why we use limit here, okay? When n tends to infinity, you see here in the value of, so the value of k, it tends to infinity, right? We could also write down here when k tends to infinity, okay? So then a into, the formula is a into 1 minus q to the power n by 1 minus q. This is the formula to find the sum of proportional sequence. Okay, the formula is a into 1 minus q to the power n by 1 minus q. This is the sum of all the numbers when k is equal 1, k is equal 2, up to infinity. So we see. So what is a? A is the first number. So if you look here in my notes, the first number here is a by 3, right? This is the value of a, okay? In the formula here, this is the value of a. So a is a by 3, okay? The first number of the sequence. So here I write down here the value of a, that is a by 3, and then 1 minus, so here q, value of q is 1 by 3. So 1 by 3, then to the power n. You see here, to the power n. So 1 by 3 to the power n divided by 1 minus, so the value of q is 1 by 3. So 1 minus 1 by 3. And so if I substitute the value of n here, so you see the value of n here, so something to the power infinity, that is 0, okay? Something to the power infinity is 0. So this part, it will become 0. So we get on, right? We get a by 3. So here times 1 minus 0, right? We calculate the limit here. So what we do, we just substitute the value of n as infinity. So some is called some number to the power infinity that is equal to 0, okay? This is the calculation of limit. So we write down, so 1 minus 0, and this part it will be, so 3, and then 3 minus 1, that is 2 by 3, okay? And then this part can go on the upside, and we write down this way, so it flips, okay? 2 by 3 becomes 3 by 2. 2 by 3 becomes 3 by 2, okay? And 3 and 3, they get cancelled, and we get here, and 0 also, we don't need to write down 0 here. So a times 1, that is a, and divided by, here is 2, right? A by 2. So a by 2. And you have to remember that when we sum all these numbers, so in this sequence, the total probability, the total probability will be always 1. As I mentioned earlier, the total probability will be 1. So that's why I write down here a by 2 is equal to 1, okay? And then if I cross multiply here, so a will be 2. So this way we find the value of a. And now let's see, guys, can you understand?
Yeah, keep it up.
Okay. And now let's find when probability of x is greater than or equal to 3. So this is the opposite event, because we only have the value on and 2, right? If you see here, we have only the value on and 2. So if I somehow calculate 1 and 2, and then we have a lot of part here, right? A very long calculation. So we can also simplify this. We just we just write down this way. The whole probability is 1. So 1 minus the probability of x is equal to 1, and then see here, probability of x is equal to 1, and then minus probability of x is equal to 2, minus probability of x is equal to 2. So if we do this part, then we will find x is greater than 3, the same thing, okay? The whole probability minus this 2 probability, then we will find this part. Oh, sorry. Then we will find the probability of x is greater than 3. So if I write down a line here, here is 1, and here is 2, and here is 3, and so on, okay, up to infinity. So I need to find from 3 to infinity, right? So to make it simple, we find the probability of when x is equal to 1 and x is equal to 2. And the whole probability here is 1, the whole thing here, that is equal to 1, right? So 1 minus the probability of when x is equal to 2, and then again minus the probability of when x is equal to 3, okay? Oh, sorry, 1 and 2. X is equal to 1 and x is equal to 2. So this is the same thing to find the probability of x is greater than or equal to 3. Okay, and so I have drawn the real line here, so it will become easier to understand. And now we already know the probability of x is equal to 1. That is 2 by 3 to the power 1, right? You just substitute the value here. You just substitute the value of k here, okay? K is equal to 1, right? So a by 3 to the power 1, so it will be a by 3. And then, sorry, here the value of a, we already know the value of a, right? So value of a is 2. So we can also write down here equal to 2 by 3, okay? 2 by 3. And then when k is equal to 2, so it will be a by 3 squared. So here the value of a is 2 and 2 by 9, right? So that's why I write down here 2 by 3 squared, okay? Or 2 by 9. So the answer will be 1 by 9. So is it clear, guys? Here we calculate using the opposite event. Hello. So number 7.
It goes tight, but more or less understandable.
Okay, right. So it's enough. Maybe after explaining all the homeworks, it will get much easier. And now let's see number 7. Let the distribution law of the random variable x be, so here is our distribution law. You have to find the distribution function of x and calculate f of 2.5. So distribution function, right? So this is the distribution function here, okay? F of x. And here the x, so capital X and small x. So capital X is the, it is called, okay, let me share another note. Community. So it is called estimated, okay? Estimated. So estimated and not estimated, or you see here population variance, and here is estimated population variance. So that these two are different. So why they are different? So when we calculate a lot of data, like we calculate we calculate 1,000 people, it's still calculatable, right, on using hand. But when we calculate 10,000 people or 100,000 people, so in this case, it's very hard to calculate using our hand, right? So, or you just, it's very hard. So in that case, we just estimate the value. And so in most of cases, we will use this formula to find the estimated population variance and to find the the estimated standard deviation. Okay, you will see this formula in most of the real life applications, and there is Excel formula. Okay, you can calculate them in Microsoft Excel. You know that business, a lot of businesses, those are handled using the Excel, right? So these are some formulas that we will use in the real life, and most probably we don't calculate it by hand, but we calculate it using Microsoft Excel or some other software. So we were here, right? Here, right? So here, capital X, this is the estimated value, and then X, this is the main value. Okay, main value is here, and capital X is estimated value. So estimated value, it will be always less than the main value. Okay, that's why, or it can be also equal to the main value. So probability of X is less than X. This is the distribution function. And we have what we have? We have from 1 to 4, right? From 1 to 4. So firstly, when X is less than 1, so that means this part. And so here is nothing, right? There is no probability here, just empty, right? So that's why the result will be 0. And when X is greater than or equal to 1 and less than 2, so you see here equal to sign, right? Greater than or equal to. So equal to sign means X can be equal to 1. So we calculate from 1 to here on the left side. Okay, so probability, so here the pk, the probability is 0.2, right? So previously we know that we when X is less than 1, so we calculate from 1 to left side. So here is nothing, so we write down 0. And when we calculate from 1, so it will include the 1, and also it will include the previous probability. Okay, so the answer is, you see here the probability is 0.2. So here is 0.2. Okay, and on the left side we had 0, right? So we can also write down here plus 0. The answer will be same, 0.2. And now let's see here. So we have already taken 1, right? Now we have to take 2. See here, we write down 2 here, and then the equal to sign. So X is now greater than or equal to 2, and X is less than 3. So from here on to the left side, from here to the left side. So we have 2 value here. We have 0.3 and we have 0.2, and here we had 0, right? So we have to add them. We have to add them together. So 0, you see here 0 plus 0.2 and then plus 0.3. The answer is 0.5. And now let's come back here. Number 4, when X is greater than or equal to 3 and less than 4. So now we have to also include 3, right? So from here to the left side, from here to the left side. So if I add them together, 0.2 plus 0.3 plus 0.4 plus 0. So that is 0.9. And the very last we have X is greater than 4. That means from here to the left side, right? From here to the left side. So if I add them together, the last part, we already know that this is the total probability, right? So the last part, it will be 1, right? If you just add them together, it will be equal to 1. So this way we find the distribution function. So you see when X is less than 1, that is 0. When X is greater than or equal to 1 and less than 2, that is 0.2. So we just write down these results. See here, when x is less than 0, so here is 0. When x is from 1 to 2, then here is 0.2. So when x is 2, x is greater than or equal to 2 and less than 3, then here is 0.5. So this way, okay, just write down here the intervals and the results. This is the distribution function. And now let's see the second question here is f of 2.5. F of 2.5. So if you see here f of 2.5, 2.5 is between 2 and 3, right? 2.5 is between 2 and 3. So here the probability is 0.5, right? The probability is 0.5. If I draw the line here, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So this way. So here 2.5, 2.5 is here, right? Between 2 and 3, there is 2.5. So for 2.5, the probability is 0.5. So here f of 2.5 is 0.5, okay? When the interval, when x is 2.5 and the interval here is x is greater than or equal to 2 and less than 3, okay? So guys, do you understand number 7? Hello. So now let's see now.
This one is the most harder.
6 one. Okay, okay. So if you find difficulty, just interrupt me, okay? Just ask me. I will try to explain.
Yeah, okay, okay.
And number 8, let the probability density of random variable x be f of x equal x plus half when x is greater than 0 and less than 1. And other cases, it is 0. So when we see other cases, so that is continuous random variable, okay? That is continuous random variable. So all this part was, it was not continuous random variable, but here when you see something like others, what's wrong with my computer? Okay, so when you see something like this, like others, that means it is a continuous random variable. So here we have to find the coefficient A. So for continuous random variable, we need to calculate the integration, okay? Because you know, when we try to find some area, so for example, let's say this area, so we have to integrate this part, right? So that's why in continuous random variable we calculate integral. So the first one, find the coefficient A. Coefficient A is here, right? Here is coefficient A. So to find this one, we have to integrate from minus. So this is the formula: integration of minus infinity to plus infinity f of x dx equal to 1. That means, let's say this is the this is our function, right? Let's say this is the function, and the whole part here, I mean the whole part here, okay? This is the total probability, and the answer will be equal to 1, okay? So it means integration of minus infinity to plus infinity f of x dx is equal to 1, okay? And then we just, so f of x is here, the function that is given here, ax plus 1 by 2. So we integrate this function. So integration of ax will be ax squared by 2, and integration of 1 by 2 will be x by 2, okay? And then we write down the limit here. So the boundary here, so boundary is from 0 to 1, and then we substitute the boundary back. So we get a by 2 plus 1 by 2. So this is the integration part. I will not explain this one because we learned this in the previous semester. So here, this is the total probability. And we know that the total probability is equal to 1. So now if I calculate a by 2 plus 1 by 2 is equal to 1. So here it will be 2, and then a plus 1 equals 1. So a plus 1 is equal to 2. A is equal to 1, right? So we find the value of a is equal to 1. And now let's see the second question here. The distribution function of f of x. So we need to find the distribution function. So we have given the interval here from 0 to 1, right? So firstly, we calculate when